Everyone in Tokyo has mysteriously vanished, and the streets themselves have shifted to form an eerily quiet maze. A girl wanders through the city in search of her best friend, who suddenly disappeared without a trace. Tokyo Stories is a 3D adventure game that uses fixed camera angles and a wonderful 3D pixel art style to create a version of Japan's capital city that you've never seen before. In fact, the developers have said that the Tokyo we want to depict in Tokyo Stories is not the famous tourist city of Tokyo. We want to shed more light on the rather forgotten yet kindly embracing backside of the city. So instead of scurrying through Shibuya, you can sit down and relax in a much quieter spot. It's almost like this place has been standing still, just waiting for you to arrive. Information on the story of Tokyo Stories is pretty sparse, but there will be a series of overlapping tales that weave their way through one another and unveil the mystery to you one thread at a time. The game follows at least 3 different characters: a girl who came to the city in search of a friend who suddenly went missing, a boy with a secret he can't share with anyone, and a girl who disappeared into the city without telling why. And honestly, I don't even care what this game is about because it just looks so beautiful. This use of fixed camera angles in a non-horror or action-focused game is just so refreshing. But this does sound pretty cool, I'll be honest. Originally, Tokyo Stories was supposed to release in 2023, but has recently been postponed to sometime in the general future. Basically, the scope of the game became bigger than what the team could handle in that time frame, but all the positive feedback they've received over the past year has encouraged them to keep working towards their ideal version of the game. Starting in February of this year, the devs at Dracom have been giving us some sneak peeks into the creation of Tokyo Stories in the form of Steam posts. This includes stuff like how they create this pixelated look and the thought process behind the silhouettes and color schemes of each of the main characters. For example, our character has a blue theme going on and she prefers dark colors that blend into the night, while her friend wears a soft yellow color and is frequently associated with butterflies. It's only natural that someone with this gentle and flowing presence might attract another who tends to blend in with the shadows. The devs also go into some detail about the visual effects they're including, like particles and lighting, as well as the gentle blowing of plants in the breeze and the flickering of forgotten neon signs. As they've said, movements such as particles and blinking lights make the screen more lively, compensating the static nature of the camera view. And this totally makes sense. Somehow it feels right to show off these deserted places from this point of view, but these small things remind us that life hasn't stopped completely. And now, on to the reason that I was first drawn to Tokyo Stories: the fixed cameras. Of course, a lot of people will appreciate this feature for the sake of nostalgia, but Dracom also chose to approach things from this angle because it would give them more control in how the player experiences their version of Tokyo. In a way, the fixed camera angles have made development quicker and easier because models and environments will only be viewed from select angles, and therefore the game's overall visual quality is raised. And for a small team, spending time wisely is crucial if you actually want to finish making your game. For players not used to games in this style though, it can be disorienting when the camera switches from one angle to another. This is something they're actively thinking about and are working towards creating gentler and more natural feeling transitions. I believe Tokyo Stories had a demo out at one point, and I really hope they'll release one again in the future because I'd really like to get my hands on this game. In the meantime though, I'll leave you with a few similar feeling games that came to mind when watching through all this footage. First is the Opus series, which I have not played, particularly the newest release, Echo of Starsong, and the upcoming Prism Peak. These are visual novel-style adventure games, and they have the same moody, glowy look as Tokyo Stories that I just can't look away from. And then we have Beyond the Plastic Wall, which isn't out yet, but it's also a very atmospheric title about isolation, love, and what it's like to be human. Finally, The Time I Have Left, which is coming out in December and also uses some beautiful fixed camera angles. It's described as a time-driven escape adventure, and you can watch my video about it to learn more. If you want. No pressure.